With using QuickBooks Pro Desktop, I did a bank reconciliation with wrong information. That happens to the best of us. I had 2 checks for $2,500 and only 1 cleared. I reconciled the wrong deposit. Can I manually switch which deposit is cleared in the check register, or should I undo my last 4 reconciliations until I get to the incorrect cleared transaction? You can do either, and there are pros and cons. You can manually unclear and then manually clear in the check register, no problem. However, bear in mind that your reconciliation reports, 2 things. Your reconciliation reports you're gonna have to reprint them if you maintain a record of your reconciliation reports. And secondly, your opening balance, just because you mark it as cleared in the register doesn't mean that it's going to show up as cleared when you do your next bank reconciliation. Your opening balance is going to be off by that amount. Sure, it's going to be checked off in the bank rec window, and that will make it okay, but your opening balance is going to be off, and then you'll have to reconcile 1 more month before everything is back on track. So a pro and a con. It saves time, but also leaves your QuickBooks file such that your current reconciliation reports don't match the original ones, and if you care about that could be an issue. For example, if this is a company that you're watching closely for potential fraud, then you don't want to mess with your bank recs. Go back and undo those suckers and redo them. So, regarding your second idea, you could undo your last 4 reconciliations. It would be cleaner. It would take more time, but you'd end up with a cleaner result. You'd have reports in QuickBooks that match transaction by transaction, that match your archive of bank statements and bank reconciliation reports, which is always a nice thing to have on file. And the other thing to consider is, if you do take that approach, I recommend exporting to Excel your bank reconciliation detail reports first before you undo them, because what you want to focus on is speed of redoing the reconciliation. So here's Jamie's tip for the fastest re-reconciliations you've ever done. First of all, enter in the month-end information the way you always do. Go to the bank rec screen. Check off that little box that says only show the transactions from this month. Don't show me anything after the bank statement ending date. Then look in that exported bank rec detail report. Look at the transactions that are still uncleared at that time. In QuickBooks, click the button that says Mark All. It's going to check off everything, then only uncheck the ones that didn't clear during your first bank rec. Click Reconcile Now, rinse and repeat for the other 3 months, and you're good to go. Sometimes I take the first approach of just, fix it in the register, clean it up now, and go forward. I am generally more comfortable with the second approach. I'd much rather have a clean data trail always, because you never know when it's going to come back and bite you. Nobody ever sees fraud coming, but next thing you know, you're investigating something for fraud, or even just to look into a customer transaction history. Something's off and you don't know why, and then everybody's running around like the Three Stooges. I just much rather, in general, have a clean data trail. And with time-saving techniques, like what I just described, redoing the bank recs really doesn't take that long.